Hi, good afternoon. In this session, we will discuss how to formulate technical strategy. As I mentioned earlier, we have discussed the 4 cycles or 4 dimensions of the technical strategies. The starting point is technology evolution, and industry context, and organizational context, and strategic action. So we'll start from the technology evolution. Among technology evolution, we should know the trend of the technology strategy, and one of the very typical technology trend recent days will be the 4th industrial revolution. So I'll explain the 4th industrial revolution very briefly. As we know, the 1st industrial revolution started from the steam and water power innovation. Steam locomotive train was developed at that time. And then 2nd industrial revolution was related to the mass production and chemical product. And now we are in the 3rd industrial revolution, IT industry, automation, computer, and electronics. Some people are saying that we are at the end of 3rd industrial revolution. Some people are saying that we are now entering into the 4th industrial revolution. Okay? So we can explain each industrial revolution with a very typical technologies. So now, to understand the 4th industrial revolution very clearly, I think the concept of the smart observability and controllability is very important. What is the basic concept of smart? Smart means smart observability and controllability of entire corporate process. It means that we should observe first, and then based on the observation, you can analyze data, and then you can control the system for the better situation. So observation and controllability will be very important function here. So as I explained here, the observability, you can control as much as you can observe. Okay? Any problems or situation at every corner should be clearly seen. You should observe the situation. So Internet of Things and many sensors can contribute for that kind of functions. And then controllability. If you observe well, the next question is how to control better. Okay? They can be controlled and solved and improved by the platform. The platform technology is very important. Okay? So the smart are linked with the convergence with IT, and that will enable observability and controllability to be data-driven and intelligent. So in summary, we can say that the core technology for 4th industrial revolution will be the IoT, Internet of Things, and the big data and AI. Among them, the AI is the most important. For example, if we look at the process of the data collection and analysis and control, the starting point will be sensing, observation, something. Okay? So the IoT can help us to sense the situation. Okay? So IoT, it should be connected, and you can increase the observability. And after sensing, after collecting the data will be analyzed. Now the big data will be available, and you can analyze the data. Business analytics has been the key issues recently, and it is data driven. And then finally, based on the big data analysis, we can control the situation by artificial intelligence. Okay? So the artificial intelligence should be intelligent. So maybe 4th industrial revolution can be summarized in that way: sensing, analysis, and control. And the 3 key technologies will be IoT, big data, and AI. As you know, in foreign countries, they do not use the terminology the 4th industrial revolution, but many cases they are using the data transformation or the AI, okay, as a keyword. But in applying this technology into the real world, into practice, in fact, the domain knowledge is really matter. Even though ICT knowledge is very important, but ICT is just the tools, the enabling tools. You should know the domain knowledge. The domain knowledge is the key. And if the ICT is supporting and enabling them, then you can make the result. Okay? So the ICT knowledge is sensor, IoT, big data, or AI platform, blockchain, all of this. These are basically common, but different for each application. So ICT technology can be applied into the various domains. The domain knowledge will play the key roles, and then the domain knowledge will be different for each application. This is very universal. So how to replicate the intelligence of domain experts will be very important. So we can discuss what are the roles of technology in the fourth industrial revolution era. In the marketing, in technology, the digital transformation. So we should importance platforms. This can be the important discussion agenda. And this is another viewpoint on the meaning of the fourth industrial revolution. In many cases, the engineers and researchers interpret fourth industrial revolution just as a technological development. But in reality, maybe the starting point or triggering point of the fourth industrial revolution will be the people and the market. Okay? If we look at this one, at the beginning there are changes of the mindset of the people. Okay? Also the habit or attitude of the people. Smartphones. Some people are calling this generation as a Homo sapiens instead of Homo sapiens. So Homo sapiens with a phone. So this is a Homo sapiens. So the emergence of the Homo sapiens means just the value of the company is highly related to the click of the people. Okay? The people would like just click and ordering something and executing something just by clicking the smartphone. So it has changed the whole world of the business and the market. Okay? So Homo sapiens with a quite different life cycle or lifestyle compared to the older generation. They will change the market. Okay? So Homo sapiens will lead to the market evolution. So there is market demand, very strong market demand here. And then now it's time how to satisfy their needs. So the platform, okay, I mentioned platform evolution, they contributed a lot to solve the problem. So the platform can link, the customer and manufacturer together, and they can provide a solution for the problem. Okay, so if we look at the major companies in the world, majority of them are platform business companies. For example, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Facebook, Alibaba, Tencent. All of them are linked with the platform business. Anyway, the starting point of this one is changes in customer market and customer attitude, customer habit, and then market revolution and platform revolution. And finally, also we have some innovation, AI, IoT, big data, etc. So this is the main part of the industrial revolution. So rather than to think about the fourth industrial revolution just from here, this is the last point to provide a solution for customer need. So starting point was the people, the customer, and market, and then platform and technology will provide the solution for that. So this is also quite a good perspective to understand the real meaning of the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, so you can discuss regarding the technology evolution, emergence of the new technology. You may mention some key technological issues or technologies emerging very recently, and if you are the CEO of the company, will you adopt, implement the technology or not? Okay, that is very important decision. And also, did you find any technological evolution in your industry? So with this question we can discuss. Okay, this is the first part of technology evolution. We should understand the nature of technology and trend of the technology, especially from the context of a post-industrial revolution. We should analyze the core of the post-industrial revolution. That start from observation something and analyzing something and control something. These are very important key activities in the process of post-industrial revolution, and then for each part, some technology can be applied. Okay, but most importantly, the domain knowledge and customer need are really important. So this is technology evolution, and then we can move to the industrial context. It means that we should analyze our industrial structure. This part was already discussed in the corporate strategy course. So I will not explain in more detail. And to analyze industrial structure, the 5 forces model and force analysis can be applied. Also the concept of appropriability and how to make a profit from innovation, these are also important issues. In what condition can you maximize the profit from innovation? And then how the innovation can be accelerate the industrial changes. In many cases, complementary assets are also very important, and also increasing return to adoption. And understand now we already discussed the issues. So all of this are linked with the industrial structure and industry context issue. Okay, among industrial context, the government roles are also very important. In many cases, government can set the rules, and also government can hold some regulation or deregulation. Okay, so the government activities, government policies can influence our industry very much. Okay, especially in telecommunication, in many cases, or banking. These industries are very much linked with government regulation. So government activity, government policy should be part of our industrial context, industrial system. Okay? So these are tools, 5 process model, 3C process model, or some people are using the pest analysis, political, economic, and social, and technological issues. So by dividing all the issues in this category, you can easily analyze all the important part of the world. And 5 process analysis, I'll skip this one. But you should understand that we know the 5 forces very well, but what are the meanings of this diagram? So if we look at the horizontal axis, supplier, our company, and buyers are located here. So what are the relationships of these actors? Okay? Suppliers, company, and buyers are collaborating each other. But the issue is how we divide the produced value into each players. Okay? Suppose we have made the 100 value, then how to distribute 100 value to supplier and our company and our buyer. That are issues. But this kind of distribution of the value are highly dependent on the bargaining power, not just for the real contribution. So the bargaining powers are very important, and also the technology can play important source of the bargaining power. How about the vertical axis? If you look at the vertical axis, my company and new entrant and substitute, these are really the competing relationships, not collaboration. So horizontal axis are related to the collaboration, but vertical axis are axis is linked with the competition. But new entrants just would like to enter into the existing market. They do not want to destroy our industry. They just would like to some part of our industry. Okay, but substitutes, they would like to disrupt existing industry, and they would like to replace existing industry with their own new industry. Okay, so in many cases, disruptive technology could be the substitute in this diagram. So why only 5 forces? You can add the government at the 6th force, and also you can add the complement at the 7th force. So regarding all the tools used in the class, you should learn the tool first, but in many cases you may adapt the tool in your situation. You can omit or you can delete some porches, and also you can add another porches just for your application. So you should be very free to change or to modify the tools. Okay? And this is one of the very famous industry analysis. This is regarding the computer industry. When computer industry was born, especially in the mainframe computer, especially around the 1980s. At that time, all the players in mainframe computer has been involved in all the function of the computer sector. For example, IBM has their own operating system. They developed the chip by themselves. They developed the application software. Also, IBM had the sales and distribution channel by them. So all the the value chain was operated by the IBM. Same as DEC and the Univac and WAM. So all of these the players and mainframe computer was conducting all these kind of activities by themselves, each by each. So to enter into this market, you need a lot of investment. So the small high-tech bench was difficult to enter into this kind of industrial structure. But after some years, the industry has changed. Okay, if we look at the computer industry in 1995, the application software was developed by several different companies, Word and Word for computer and chips. So each segment has their own players. So these are very specialized companies. So the many high-tech ventures can enter into the very segmented industry. Okay? So it will increase the entry of the new venture into this market. So the industry structure changed from vertical to horizontal. So this is very typical changes. This kind of the change was firstly observed by the Andy Grove, CEO of the Intel, and he explained the process with this picture. Okay? Also, you can see the 3C analysis, the customer, company, and competitors. Okay? So I can say that in general, management pursue satisfaction rather than optimization. In many cases, engineering will pursue the optimization. Okay, so especially in mechanical design, they try to optimize, for example, the temperature, the yield, all kinds of manufacturing indicators. They would like to optimize the performance. But in management, it is very difficult to know what are the optimization level, optimized level. So in general, we have some criteria or some objective or goal, and if we achieve the goal, if we satisfy the level, then this is a satisfaction, and that is really very important in management. Okay, so if you apply this concept into the 3C component for companies, each company has their goals. I mentioned that management is the process of achieving goals through and through other people. Okay, so management is regarding the achievement of the goal. So a company has some criteria, and if in the goal, if the company achieved this goal, it means that it satisfied the goal, then that is success. Okay, so the achieving goal is also a part of satisfaction. Regarding customer needs some levels of the performance, and then our product can satisfy the criteria. That is the customer satisfaction. And also with the competitors, if we know the technology level or some performance level of competitor, if our the competitor advantage is better than the competitor, so it means that our level is better than our competitors. So that is competitive advantage. So this is also another form of the satisfaction. So we can explain all of this basically from the perspective of satisfaction. Okay. So 3C analysis also, if we add a collaborator as the 4C, and then we can analyze industry very well. Okay, just by dividing the industry into this 4 segments, and then we analyze each of them, and now we synthesize the result. Okay, that is the typical way. Also, when we analyze the industrial structure, the value chain evolution is also important. For example, here, as I explained before, in 1980s, IBM and DEC, all of the company carried out all this kind of function: material, component development, design, assembly, operating system, all of things were done by each company. This is vertical industry. But after some years, maybe it has changed. It has changed into the horizontal. So in case of the Dell computer is do not involved in the developing the material component or application. Dell computer is much more focused on design, the architecture, and then assembly, just by purchasing each component from many component manufacturers. And then they did not carry out all the value chain process activities. They are focusing on the design and assembly, and then for the things they are outsourcing from outside. Okay, so this is different form. This is also horizontal things. Okay, and then now recently again, the Samsung taking the vertical industry. Okay, means that the Samsung is doing a lot of things by themselves. Okay, so the it changed from vertical to horizontal, again to vertical. So when you analyze the value chain of industry, this kind of framework will be very useful. But in value chain evolution, we can have two different approaches. One is integration, and the other one will be modulation. Integration means just like IBM mainframe, they are doing all of the activities so that they can maximize all the process. Okay. But just like Dell computer, this is modulation. They are focusing on some specific activities, and then they are outsourcing the other part from outside. That is the modulation strategy. So maybe some company are taking the integration strategy, or some other companies are following the modulation strategy. So we can. This will be the good example, just like this one. And for example, in smartphone, mobile computing industry, And Apple is focusing on product design and operating system only, and Samsung is involved in component development, manufacturing by themselves. But in case of Apple iPhone, the Foxconn is the manufacturer of this product. But in case of Samsung, Samsung is manufacturing by themselves. Of course, mainly in Vietnam, near Hanoi. Okay. So the Google is focusing on application software, etc. So if we look at the mobile computing industry, rather than the integration, Samsung is taking the integration strategy, but other companies are taking the modulation strategies. You can find the differences. Okay? The most important reason for the innovation will be to make money, okay, make a profit. So the important issue will be how to make a profit from innovation. For example, even though you are very successful in innovation, you introduce the new product into the market, but one of your competitors just copied your product, and then they sold the similar product just half price. Then will be very difficult to get money. So what kind of conditions are needed to maximize the profit, okay, or to make it possible profiting from innovation? So the famous Professor Thies wrote a paper on this one, how to make a profit or profit from innovation. So he suggested the 3 conditions for profiting from innovation. The first one is appropriability regime. It means that your technology should be protected and differentiated. So if your technology is not protected, then you will be very difficult in making money. So how to make protection? How to protect your technology? The first approach will be the legal approach. Means that the legal protection will be possible for the patent. If you register, you apply for the patent, and then your patent will be protected. So if your competitors are using your patented technology, it is a violation of the patent law. So by law, you can protect your technology. That is one thing, one type of appropriability regime. The second type of appropriability regime will be the know-how. It is not the patented technology, but this is know-how, and it is not well known to your competitor. So even though your competitor can make some product, but because of your know-how, if you can develop or you can make the product with a very high quality and with a very low price, that because of your know-how, your technology will make profit, and that will be protected. So the first thing, the most important mechanism will be appropriability. The second one is linked with the dominant design. Okay? So we already learned the dynamic model of innovation. So according to the dynamic model of innovation, at the beginning, fluid stage, there are so many competition in various products. But if you approach to the transition stage, then there may be the dominant design, just like a Model T. So also in some case, maybe some standard dominant design, and and this kind of thing will be linked with your profitability. So if your product is dominant design, you can make money. And also, if your product is very linked with the standard, then your product will be very profitable. But if not, it will be very difficult to make money, okay, from innovation. And then the third driving forces will be availability of the complementary assets. For example, even though you have a quite good machine, for example, the video, the video cassette recorder you have, quite good hardware, but if you do not have a good tape or some contents, then you may not maximize the equipment. So even though you have a quite good hardware, the software applications are not available, then you cannot fully use this one. So maybe the availability of a complementary asset will promote the profiting from innovation. Okay? So I think this paper was written almost the 35 years ago. So you may add the new conditions for profiting from innovation, especially in digital age or in the age of the post-industrial revolution. So that can be the good agenda for discussion. Okay? And in addition to this, we already discussed this one, kind of adoption. Okay? For sources of increasing returns to adoption, we can have this kind of 5 sources that promote increasing adoption rate. Okay? Learning by using, network externality, scale economy, information and increasing return, and then technological interrelatedness. These kind of factors will promote increasing return to adoption. It means that if you has become the winner, or you become the sort of dominant design, then it will increase the adoption. Okay, so this is another way to analyze the industrial structure and mechanism, etc. Now, throughout the technology evolution and organizational context, you can recognize some possible opportunities. Okay, this is our opportunity, and this is our industrial structure, and then with this kind of things, maybe we can tackle these and these opportunities. So we can have some list of the opportunities. That is the end of the first 2 stages. And then, if we enter into the third stage, organizational context, now it's time to analyze your organizational capabilities, your culture, and your strategy. And also, you may check whether your capability is good enough to pursue the identified opportunities. You should check these kind of things. Okay? This is also very important process. So, the organizational context should include the strategy. Okay? As you know, we have 3 levels of the strategy: the corporate strategy, and business strategy, and functional strategy, just like operations, marketing, the innovation, etc. Okay? So, and also the internal selection environment. The fit between our company and our industry is very important. So in some case, but we may have some dissonance, so maybe not fitting each other. Then in that case, we need some adjustment. So that kind of things. This is internal selection environment, and also the cultures. Culture very important. Okay? So, for example, some of the business opportunity is quite good, but this kind of business is not suitable for our culture. Then we should not pursue this one. Okay? So each company has their own culture, but of course, even though maybe culture is not approved for them, if you would like to pursue this one, the best way will be to acquire a very new company. So that you can operate the kind of acquired company. So that is another approach. Okay, here it is important to assess your capabilities. So in this case, maybe we can divide our capabilities into several categories, several types. One of them will be the maybe resource-based views. According to the resource-based view, maybe we can analyze our resources, but majority of them in between internal capabilities. Also, we can add the network capabilities. Even though we do not have the kind of capabilities inside, but if we apply to network capabilities, we can get from outside. Okay? And one of the best classification for the organic capability will be RPV theory. RPV means resources, processes, and value. For example, if you have very good resources, it means that you have quite good capability. So resources are one of the very important components of our resources. Okay? So resources are mainly in tangible and for example people, equipment, and technology, and then product design, brand, cash, relationship with your suppliers. All of this will be the resources, and also that will be the part of our capabilities. So maybe we can easily understand these resources are one of our capabilities. What else? In addition to resources, the processes could be the part of our capabilities. The processes are linked, is transforming input to output, but in many companies, they are very different in terms of the process. For example, patterns of interaction, the coordination, the patterns of the communication, also the patterns or speed of decision making. All of this process are different. So if some company is very fast in decision making, it means that this company has a great capability compared to the company whose decision making is very slow. Okay? Especially in Korean companies, the very speedy management or very speedy decision making was one of the very important our characteristics and also our medic strengths. So processes also could be part of the organization's capabilities. And then last will be the value. Value is an issue of prioritizing. Okay, every company will have a different priority. For example, some specific opportunities are there, but this opportunity is a very important priority area for company A, but not for the company B. Then company A could be more able to pursue this one. Okay? In some cases, market size also could be some priority. For example, the very big company cannot tackle very small market, but relatively very small company could address very small market. So when you are competing with the small market, the large corporation is not so good candidate. Small companies could tackle this one very much. Yeah. So that is also the priority or value issues. So for example, technology also could be the important capabilities. When the technology is a very important component of the core competencies, we can call it CTC, core technological competence. Some examples of the CTCs are, for example, in 3M case, rheology, the flexible substrate and functional coating. These are some core competencies of 3M. And also the Japanese company Sharp emphasized the gold match project, and they try to develop original technology and differentiate technology very much. It will be the very important part of the core technical competencies. Okay? And what is your culture? How to make very creative culture? So we can have two driving forces or two factors to make a creative organizational culture. Okay? The first one, the primary factor, will be interest in behavior of customers, behavior of leaders. Many the people in organization think and also evaluate something based on the behavior of the CEO. Okay? Even though the CEO are emphasizing the taking risk, but the real behavior of the leaders are not like that. Then the people will follow the behavior of the leader. Okay, so the people, think about the criteria for evaluation, etc., and based on this, they will decide their behavior. So this kind of, the interest or behavior of the CEO, and then, the criteria for evaluation, this kind of thing will determine the organizational culture. This is a primary factor. But secondary, and also this is much, the longer impact will be organizational redesign or change in systems. If you change your system, that will contribute to change your culture. So there are several ways to change to build your culture. Okay? Also, when you are considering the collaboration or joint venture, many kind of things, you should consider the fit between two different organizations. Among several fit issues, maybe the strategic fit and the resource fit and cultural fit are most important fit issue. Strategic fit means if two organizations are pursuing very similar organization, or strategic direction, that will be a quite good partnership. Okay? So for example, one company is directing that way, but the other companies the opposite direction. Then maybe the collaboration will be very difficult. So strategic fit is very important. And resource fit. Resource fit means that each organization should support each other. So for example, the company A is very good in the hardware and company B is quite good in software, then that will be the quite good, the combination. Okay? This is resource fit. They can support each other. They can support each other's weak point. And cultural fit means the two organizations should be very similar in terms of culture, so that the implementation should be much easier. Okay? So this is issue related to our culture. And then the company is not just the material. This is just like the living things. Just like the people, organization also should evolve. Evolve along the time. So if you look at this kind of organizational change from ecological perspective, we can explain all kinds of the company's development and progress with intra-organizational ecology. Okay, we have two different types of innovation challenges. The first one will be the induced strategic action. Induced strategic action means the people, this kind of action will take place within the construct of the firm's corporate strategy and in relation to its familiar external environment. It means that in very familiar environment, we already have some strategy, and in that case, the people will follow the strategy in that environment. So the people's activities are induced based on our existing the strategy. So this is induced strategic action. Okay, based on structure, strategy, we follow this kind of action. So this is in general case. But in some case, autonomous strategic action will take place outside of a firm's corporate strategy. And it brings the company new environmental reach. It means that I know our strategies like this, but I tried very hard to maximize our benefit. And I found that my behaviors are quite different from the directions of our strategy. What happened? I worked very hard. I tried to maximize the profit of our organization. I tried very much, but my behavioral direction are quite different from our strategic direction. So it means that there are some some gaps. And current strategy like this, but now the market has changed. Okay? So that kind of autonomous strategic action will take place outside the firm's corporate strategy. So if you look at this slide, this is our current strategy, and based on this, the people will take the induced strategic action, and then within the structure, and then it will be accelerated. That is the induced strategic action cycle. But sometimes there are separated autonomous strategic actions. But at the beginning, it should be the exception. But after some year, and after that, we found that that kind of thing is not exception. That this kind of things, this kind of behavior happen, very often. Then this kind of action should be incorporated into the strategic context, and then it will change our existing structure and existing strategy. Okay, so if you have many induced strategic actions, and then they will enforce to change our existing strategy, and that will be the process of a strategic change. So this slide will give you the more detailed explanation for this one. And also, one of the important decisions in industry or our strategic issue will be the strategic business exit. For example, Intel